Hi, Mugcord. Wisp tier list with yours truly, Josh, and
It's me, Jane, from the
Nice.
internet.
Yeah, okay, let's just jump right into it. First of all, we have the Black Wisp from Sonic Lost World. This turns into a bomb, then rolls around and explodes on a timer. You can see its little design
I
there. What do we think?
I enjoy this greatly. This is I'm gonna let you in on a secret. I like just from glancing, I like most of these a fair bit.
Wisps are
But I'm
cool. People hate them,
particularly
but they're cool.
I fucking hate Sonic fans, dude. Every time the franchise does something fun or cool, they're like, "Could you just remake Sonic 2, please?" It's just that's just rude. um,
I like the
no,
Wisps a
I
fair
think
amount.
I have a favorite of this list. I think
Okay.
this guy though can easily go in seasoning. This is
Yeah,
He's very round. Bombs, like cartoon bombs, are just kind of based. I have a bomb plushie, and it's kind of a similar thing.
no, that's fair.
Now this guy I
Before you
don't
say
like
that,
very much.
I'm just gonna
Yeah,
say the specific problem that people consistently have with Wisps is like, oh, they were fine for colors, but they kept coming back. They were in Generations, they were in Lost World, they were in Forces. That's not that many games. In Forces, they're only used as like weapons for your custom character. In Generations, they're in the colors level, and then I'll give you Lost World.
which yeah.
But I
I'm gonna go off for a second. I think that the variety of funny little guys in the Sonic franchise is one of its greatest assets,
Oh, I agree.
and to see people slander it like that is really disappointing and upsetting as a little guys fan.
Complaining about
Um,
aliens in Sonic is also
yeah.
mental because we've had them for a while. Everybody was pogging when Black Doom came back. Like, come on. I also think that, like, the Wisps, some of them staying with Sonic after the events of Colors makes sense. And then broadly, like, if you're going to do power-ups, which is what the Wisps are, they are power-ups, this is a really, like, cool diegetic way to
Yeah,
contextualize
they're
them.
fun.
I like the
They,
Wisps.
they are. I distinctly remember they were like one of my favorite things about Colors, which is one of the relatively few Sonic games I've beaten. Um,
I was born in 2000. I
yeah,
got Colors when it came out when I was 10 years old. Uh, and the opening
don't
CG
mind me. I'm just
cutscene,
withering into dust for a sec.
the opening CG cutscene with all the Wisps just fucking around on Planet Wisp, delightful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But okay, next guy, the Cyan
Yeah.
Wisp of Cyan
This
Laser
is.
fame.
I hate to say it. This is one of my least favorite ones on here.
Yeah.
I don't want to just like condemn him, right? But also, you judge the list relative to the other stuff on the list. I don't know. I'm feeling like low needs more development. Maybe high Jujutsu Kaisen. Even I don't like that he looks like he has attitude. I don't like his shape. He looks like a fish,
Well,
and I'm not huge on that.
to
It's not a
speak
fish. It's a wisp.
to speak to the Cyan Laser's defense. By the way, the tier list description, lisps, no wisps with a W. That's a line you see
Huh.
from Sonic Colors.
Don't remember that
The
one.
Cyan Wisp has attitude because it has attitude. It's the fast one. It's kind of like Sonic. It turns into a laser.
I get that. Like, okay, I get that. However,
However,
I don't know if that was the way to do it. I just
it is one
he
of the more
looks
boring looking ones. I can say
he
that
also
much.
he also doesn't really fit with the general aesthetic of most of the rest of the ones. I feel like he's not enough of a funny little guy. That's my main complaint. I guess
Okay.
it's just this
I
is a wisp that I would not necessarily like. I don't care for it. Is
I like
all.
the Cyan one a fair amount. It's a little dull. It's a little simple, but to me, it's I guess mid is probably fine.
You're the one doing the tier list.
Yeah.
Um,
This is the
this
Crimson
guy,
Wisp that turns into the
yeah.
Crimson Eagle and can glide over long distances. It's introduced in Sonic Lost World. It's also in Team Sonic
Okay.
Racing. Once again, by the way, contextualizing power-ups as wisps is a really nice diegetic thing. And in Team Sonic Racing, it's a red shell. It's just a red shell.
Fair enough.
It's fine.
I like this one more than the previous Attitude Wisp. He this is like if you turned Shadow into a Wisp. I feel like you'd get this.
Including the
He
third
just-
eye.
I mean, maybe, I don't know. Shadow's got like weird powers. He might have a third eye. Nobody knows. He's, I don't know. He looks like he's trying to be like, "Grr, I'm a toughie," but actually, though, if you like pet him, he'd be like a cute little guy, just like the rest of them.
Fair. I do like this color. This is pretty much my role color, so I mean,
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
a nice color.
like mid-low seasoning.
High, mid, low seasoning seems fair to
The
me.
top mid. Blue cube
Yeah,
turns into a cube. I think it's in Team Sonic
he's
Racing.
so fucking square.
I think in Team Sonic Racing, it's like a banana peel. It might not be in Team Sonic Racing. I could be making this up. I can't remember. It's also in Sonic Forces as a Wispin. The Wispin has a hammer, and it turns enemies into big blue cubes, and also creates platforms to stand on. In Colors, of
Yeah,
course,
no,
you turn into a cube. I think in Colors gameplay,
Like-
it's actually the worst.
like the
It's
stone-
insanely start and stop. But the guy itself,
It's like the stone. It's like the stone power up from Kirby, right?
Yeah,
Am
a
I
little-
remembering that right? Okay.
you stop in place, hammer the ground, it beats enemies, and it also turns blue rings into blue platforms, and blue platforms into blue rings. Very start and stop. Again, I don't actually like using it. look at
Okay,
him.
that's fair. No, that's fair. I think judging the utility of the Wisp is a fair consideration.
Yeah, but again,
My argument to you, as you say, is just look at him.
he's so awesome.
Such a little guy. He's cubical. He's got 3 eyes right in a row. The pleasant geometry there is unmatched. He's got 3 tentacles,
And
like
they're all cuboid.
radiating. Yeah, like radiating outward, like he's some kind of very strange starfish.
Yeah.
I appreciate this gentleman a good deal on his aesthetics.
Yeah.
I will leave the final placement, as with all of these, to you, but that's where I'm at. He's a little guy. Oh, I don't know. That's awfully high. There's one in particular that I'm going to argue we put at the very top of the list.
Okay. Well,
I don't know if I like him more than the bomb one.
I do quite a lot more. I'll be real, I don't
Okay,
think about the
fair
bomb
enough.
very much. I think it's literally only in Lost World. Whereas Cube, love that guy. Green Hover, whom can hover, lightspeed dash, weirdly enough. And in Sonic Forces, as a Wispin, it shoots like a huge gust of air and lets
Yeah.
you hover.
So
kind of fucks
here's my thing with this guy. He is a little guy.
He is
I
a
do
little
love
guy.
him. He's trying, and I feel so bad criticizing someone who is clearly trying so hard to be a funny little guy.
But
However, it's a bit unambitious,
It's-
isn't it?
probably the most boring one.
I wouldn't
Okay,
say
maybe not
that.
the most
but
boring one, but it's
It's one of the less interesting ones for sure.
pretty much just balls. What about
I
him
do think
hovers?
I do think that definitionally, if we are going by the names of these tier lists as indications,
Yes, green.
I think he
hover.
might be and needs more development. I think if you tweaked him a little bit, he could be truly fantastic, but he does need more development
I
in
think
like an
that's-
R&D sense.
I think that's fair. He's close, but you know. So
Yeah.
this is the Grey Wisp, which turns into Grey Quake. I believe it's only in Sonic Lost World 3DS specifically, where it creates like a little earthquake, as well as Team Sonic Racing, where it summons up stone pillars they're always exactly in your way and impossible to avoid, and it's the worst fucking item in the fucking game. I hate this fucking wisp.
I see.
But the actual guy itself?
Can I say, he is a little guy.
He's a little guy.
The hexagon is really bold. I like the hexagon. Most little guys are round. Some of them are cubical. Okay, just examples. You think of iconic little guys. You think of Kirby. You think of Pochita from Chainsaw Man. Mm-hmm. You think of like a slime from Dragon Quest.
the first three little guys: Kirby, Slime, and Pochita from Chainsaw Man.
He's a little guy.
No, it's valid.
Or even within the Sonic franchise itself, Chow's round. Coco. Coco's also round. So I do appreciate the attempt to strike out with some bold, like, definitively sided geometry. I fuck with that.
That's true.
Yeah. That said, as before, I do think considering the actual application of the Wisp in the games is valid. So he might be... Can we put mid below needs more development? I know that's unorthodox, but I do think that he is... I think that he needs more development. I think that he just needs the right role to shine in.
I mean, for what it's worth, it has among the lowest usage of any Wisp.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I think he needs more development. Truly. Needs more development is not an insult on this tier list. It's just like a... You're a work in progress.
I'll be real, I like the Wisps. I pretty much like all of these guys. So, as far as I'm concerned, there isn't actually, a bad tier. I don't think Jujutsu Kaisen should see use, hopefully. Maybe. Well, we'll talk about it.
There's a couple on here that I'm not fond of.
I should have organized this in, a gradient. That would have been awesome. So I just had that thought there.
But
needs more development. Sounds like it's the tier. Why do we swap? I mean, I don't want to put these guys above these guys.
I do.
Well, this is the way it is.
All right. Well, that's fine.
I kind of think, by the way, the Grey Wisp could have been another color, because Grey sort of
Oh no, I disagree. I think the gray looks fetching on him, actually.
Oh, okay. I just think it undermines him a little bit.
No.
Okay. This is the Indigo Wisp. It turns you
I'm gonna stop you right there. He is my son, he is my child, he is my everything. Top of the list, goated with the sauce. Okay. He is the littlest guy. I love him. I love his ring. I love his little antenna. I love his one stupid little eye. No thoughts, head empty, only orbiting.
Very large.
He is the greatest to ever do it.
That is empty.
Yeah.
My thoughts...
You can continue your spiel. I just love him so much. This is my favorite one.
The Indigo Wisp was introduced in Sonic Lost World. I think both versions, where it turns you into a large floating, functionally black hole. Indigo... What is it even called again? I honestly can't remember. But is that what it does? I can't fucking remember. I'm pretty sure it does that. Yeah, because the purple and violet ones... I was, briefly looking at the Sonic Wiki before this, just to make sure I got everything right. It's not going all that well, it seems. You probably turn into a big void, although it would make more sense for the Violet Wisp. Don't worry about it. You're right, it's a guy. It has a weapon in Sonic Forces, or a Wispin rather. Yeah, because it's Wispin, sucks everything up or some shit. Or is that the one that does all the clones? Oh man, I have no idea. You want top of the list. Honestly...
He's perfect! I love him!
I kind of prefer Cube. No. I might give you this, though.
No,
Nah.
I need to campaign very hard for my boy at
Tell
the
you what, if
top.
you're putting him in there,
He's
I'm
literally
gonna do
such a
this.
planet.
Because
I will take that over moving him down to the second highest. I simply cannot abide by
Okay.
any tier other than the top for my son.
So this is the Ivory
I want
Wisp.
the plushie of that.
They
Yeah.
might make
Uh
the Ivory Wisp. I might be from Lost World. Its ability is Ivory Lightning. It might also be in Team Sonic Racing. I know it mostly as a Wispin in Sonic Forces, and it whips around like an electric whip, and it can also do the Lightspeed Dash. I think it's
interesting.
fine. It's
I tell you, this one gives me like slight Mimikyu energy.
yeah, I can
Just
see
from
it.
the
It's
way
same
it's
color.
shaped. Yeah. Yeah, the color and the
Color is
shape.
somewhat pointy.
The shape is the shape. And I do think it gets points for that. I think this is like a high, mid, low seasoning for sure.
See,
I like that he has attitude, but he's not angry. He's determined.
I'm gonna put him beside
Focused.
Cyan just for a second. I feel like he gets
Yeah.
Cyan's shape better than Cyan does. Because what Cyan
Yes.
does in colors is also like bounce off walls and give you this like cool fucking like diagonal refraction thing. And it's like, dude, the Ivory Wisp is just that. I don't like this color that much though. Cyan is like a much cooler color to me. Ivory's a little like, it's not that it's a bad color, it's that as a color on a little guy, it's a bit, I kind of like how most wisps are really like garish colors. So this guy being so muted is a bit like,
He is like inside of a banana colored. You're right about this.
yeah. What do we? Is that probably a fine position as is? I'm gonna zoom in a little more.
I would put him above Cyan at the very least. Really? Okay.
I already kind of feel like I'm compromising with Cyan's position. I like Cyan a fair amount.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fine.
Next up, the Jade Ghost Wisp.
Oh no. Sorry, can you say that again? You broke up on my end.
Jade. The Jade Ghost Wisp.
Okay.
Yeah. This one's interesting. It has either one or two appearances. I think it first appeared... I can't actually remember the timeline. I'm pretty sure it first appeared in Team Sonic Racing. Actually, an original Wisp for that game. And it just makes you intangible for a little bit. It made its return in Sonic Colors Ultimate as the only new Wisp for that game. And they were confident in this motherfucker. It's on the box. There's every like new Sonic game for the past bit has had like an accompanying web animation released. Of course, you know about Shadow Dark Beginnings. Sonic Colors Ultimate,
the best Western cartoon to come out this year.
Sonic Colors Ultimate had Rise of the Wisps, I believe it was called, where some Wisps get like headbands and shit, kind of like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon box art, and the Jade Wisp has to like team up with Sonic to help save them. The Jade Wisp just turns you into a ghost and you can like float around a little bit. So confident were they in this Wisp that they made like particular plushes of it, and like Shane, every single fucking time I've been to a toy shop in the past like 3 years, or even just a place that might sell like Sonic plushes, which even includes like Asda, there are always so many Jade Wisps left because nobody buys them. Because if you're a kid,
now I feel bad for it. Oh
if
no!
You're a kid and you're in Asda and you see a Sonic plush and you're like, Mom, I want a Sonic. You're gonna get Sonic or Tails or Knuckles or Shadow. You're not gonna get this little green thing that you've like never seen before. I agree.
Okay.
It feels a bit sad. Jade, I had seen so many of these go unpurchased. I bought one. I bought one out of pity. It sits in a corner.
Now
it's cute.
Now
you want one. It's alright, if you go anywhere that sells Sonic merch, you'll probably see one.
I've never seen any of these guys.
Well, you might have just noticed.
Well, then we might also just have less of them over here because toy casing works differently in the United States. Blah blah blah. Transformers fandom shit.
Yeah.
Uh.
Yeah, Hartzell thinks he just turns into like a ghost and like floats around.
Yeah. So here's my issue, right? I don't care so much for the ones with the big jagged mouths.
Yeah.
To me, they look
like
a little
a weird fucking thing here, by the way, right? The two over here that have the weird jagged mouths have that because their like energy got drained and they were like turned into that. Those two are like artificial wisps. But
right.
she's just
I assumed they were.
Same for the bomb.
That's odd.
Whereas every other wisp has like eyes. So
Oh, is that a mouth? I thought that was like visor eyes. Like he had like cool sunglasses.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. He's like a chain chomp.
Mm-hmm.
But no. Here's the thing for me. Okay, like I do feel bad. Yeah. Of the three with the mouth that are left, I definitely like this one the best. My problem with the ones with the mouths is that they look kind of World of Warcrafty to me, which is not a positive association. They look like something you would learn to summon at level 1 as a warlock, and you'd stop using it by level 5. Again, I think it works best.
Right, it works in colors because they are like the artificially ones. It's a little bit weirder with like Jade.
Well, oddly enough, I actually think the Jade one has the best design of those three.
That's fair.
And the pity story, we need to move for needs more development, surely, at least, right? Like,
really? After all that?
Yeah.
Because
Well, like, again, definitionally, she needs more development. They tried to go too early. They needed to put her back. I think.
To be fair,
I don't know. I think if she had a big dumb eye or something, people might have liked her more. I feel bad.
To be fair,
my heart weeps for the Jade Wisp.
Sonic Colors Ultimate. It's very good in that. She does very well.
I mean, if you want to put her higher, that's also
like
fine.
On Colors Ultimate, or no, on Rise of the Wisps, she's actually like, she's pretty high up.
To be clear, when I said needs more development, I was establishing like a floor, I suppose.
Yeah.
Like I would not have put in her too far down.
I mean,
no, seasoning is fine. I think she can hang out with her friend, the bomb wisps.
Yeah, neither of them have eyes.
Yeah,
some sort of
that's
parallel
true.
play that they get up to where one of them explodes and the other one just doesn't notice because they're in
I want that. I want that kind of autism. That sounds fun.
It's the only wisp I have a plush of. Yeah. So this is the magenta.
Honestly,
wisp. Oh, sorry. Go on.
Yes. I was just going to say, I feel like most of these would make very good plushies. If they don't have plushies of the other ones, that's a mistake.
I think a fair amount of them got something, although I would actually need to double check. Again, for whatever reason, Sonic fans just don't like these guys. So you don't see people talk about the merch all that often.
Fist shake.
By the way,
maybe they're more popular in Japan? I don't know.
I mentioned the Black Arms earlier. I believe you've seen the character Eclipse the Darkling before. I've probably sent you him. He's very edgy. Said with the
name sounds familiar.
In the post-reboot Archer Sonic comics, Eclipse the Darkling crossbreeds wisps with dark arms, which are, the like alien race that Black Doom belongs to, and creates like this little hybrid species that like give him powers. And they're sick as fuck. It's great. It's fully sick as hell. And he, like I said, he crossbreeds them. He treats them with so much respect. He is a loving parent. And
he's a Pokemon trainer.
He is a Pokemon trainer, yes. So that's another, Wisps were doing good shit. That was also Ian, taking concepts from the games that have existed previously and, coming up with, a fascinating approach. It's good shit. So yeah, the Magenta Wisp. Nope. Yes, no, yeah, that is the Magenta Wisp. Introduced, and I
That's
think
just
only...
purple. That's not magenta.
No, Shane, idiot. This is purple, and that's violet, and this is magenta, and this is indigo, and this is pink.
Okay, sure.
Jane, this is the red wisp, okay?
What?
And
That's orange!
This is the crimson one. just don't
Never
worry
mind.
about
Just
it.
go on. Just go on.
The magenta wisp only appeared in Sonic Lost World, I believe, where it is gameplay-wise the worst. You turn into a music note, and then there are like predetermined dots, and you tap on them and you bounce across them, and it feels really like weird and bad and finicky. And if you miss a dot, even though you definitely pressed it with the proper timing, you'll fall to your death. And I think it's only in like 2 stages. It's the worst to use. So then we talk about design. What do you think of this design? It's a music note, you can tell, because it's got like a clef, or like a quaver type tail.
I feel like this is essentially just a less good version of the green one. Yeah. Most of these wisps I can muster up some affection for. This one does nothing for me. This is they tried, like, I don't know if it's that they didn't try enough with the design or that they tried too hard. You have just given a musical note, an eyeball, and some prongs, and I don't think, like, you haven't made a funny little guy. You've failed at that. You need to send him back to the factory and just strip it down to the concept and do it all over again. It breaks my heart. It really does. I am not happy that I don't like him. But the shape is the shape. It is what it is. I don't care for him.
Maybe the most boring.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Do we have a Jujutsu Kaisen?
I think we do. I'm sorry, Purple Wisp.
The only one that makes it in there. You might be more salvageable if you played fun, but you don't even do that. I think it might actually be in Team Sonic Racing, maybe, and it's like it's the blooper, and it's just like music notes on your screen.
You're giving me these comparisons. I've never played Mario Kart.
Oh, okay, sorry. I just assumed it was obvious.
Not at any.
Yeah. I mean, you know what a red shell does,
anyway.
Do you?
I think so. Do you just throw it in the person in front of the person, or in the person in front of you, or behind you, or
in front, and it homes in.
In front.
Yeah. Okay. Well, blooper just puts.
What's the blue shell? I know blue shell's the one everyone hates.
Yeah. There isn't a blue shell in Team Sonic Racing, really. The closest equivalent is actually our little Quake guy from before. But again, that just spawns a bunch of stone pillars near the person in front. And it sucks, and I fucking hate it. And it seems like every time I am in last and use the Quake, it doesn't do anything to the person in front. But every time they use it on me, it's like, yeah, no, you just can't just fucking do it. Yeah. Orange. This is the orange wisp. It turns you into a rocket, and you fly straight up.
Here's what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
You say rocket, they were clearly going for rocket. Mm-hmm. My friend, that there is a carrot.
Well, you know.
That is the carrot. It is, if you eat him, you will gain a superpower called Better Eyesight.
Oh. He does have 2 eyes, just like a human.
Yeah.
He's one of the only ones that has 2 eyes, actually. Him, Cyan, and Ivor.
There's definitely room for improvement with this one, but I do love his general continence. The shape is the shape, as I'm fond of saying.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I think he can easily go, I don't know, somewhere in the middle, maybe?
Mid? I think mid's fine.
He also looks a bit like a lava lamp, which makes me happy, because I love lava lamps.
Do we think he's above Crimson?
I think behind, but like just behind.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll put him above Cyan. Right. Pink Wisp, who turns into spikes, who can like stick to surfaces, and bizarrely, spin dash. Sonic cannot spin dash in Sonic Colors, but with the Spike Wisp he can.
So here's what I like about this one. This one's very daring.
Yeah.
This is almost avant-garde in terms of wisp shape.
Okay,
in terms of funny little guy to him. Adding spikes is a big risk.
It is.
Because by adding spikes, you decrease the cuddle factor, you decrease the ability to pet it, you decrease the ability to make it, your part of your daily routine by gently patting it on the head before you go to sleep. It's also flat, which is a risk for the same reasons by the looks of it. He's essentially like a spiky metal. However...
Oh no, he's not
I actually...
like Ryan, don't worry.
He's not flat? Okay,
no, that's
okay.
Perspective.
Yeah, either way.
The spikes are still there, though,
Yeah. Either way, I actually think it works in his favor. I think he's definitely one of the bolder wisps.
He's pretty good.
We could put him fairly high. Maybe low seasoning, perhaps.
I must also say, by the way,
unless you have objections,
traditionally,
of course.
Girly color, gay, but made him like spiky and angry, which I kind of respect.
Yeah.
It's like, pink can be a cool color as well. If you're like a young kid playing Sonic or something, you might not think so, but this is like a nice reminder. I'm willing to agree. I'm willing to put him above Bomb, potentially above Jade even.
Okay.
I think it's a better design than Jade,
fine.
but I feel so much pity for Jade. And that's something. Yeah. We'll keep him above Jade. This is the Red Wisp, Red Burst, originally featured in Sonic Colors DS specifically, where it gives you basically a double jump, triple jump, quadruple jump, as many jumps until your time runs out. It's refeatured again in Forces, does the same thing, also acts as a flamethrower in that game, and then in Team Sonic Racing, it gives your treads fire behind them and just leaves a trail of fire behind the path you took.
Interesting. Okay. Cool power set. Definitely one of the power sets I would most want to have out of all these wisps. If I was offered a selection of these wisps to use, I might choose this one.
Yeah.
However, I do think from a design point of view, if I'm grading him on the little guy scale, and I definitely am, I do think he looks maybe a bit too Pixar-y.
He is probably.
He looks a little.
He looks like the aliens from Chicken Little. A lot like the aliens from Chicken Little.
I've not seen that film, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
Or like an Inside Out character, or something of that nature.
Technically they all are, but you know.
It's something about it. It weirdly to me, it almost it's in the eyes and the flame, the lick of flame.
Yeah.
The eye, something is not quite right about the eyes and the flame. I don't know. It just doesn't look quite right. I almost think that if you removed the fire, he'd look much cuter and therefore more of a little guy, and therefore would go much higher on the list.
Okay.
But of course, he's a fire wisp, so I don't know. The more I say this, the more I'm drilling down on this. Is again just you're trying, and I respect you for trying, and you're clearly going for an aesthetic, but I think it needs more development.
I'm willing to agree. It's got probably the most this is just good in every game that it's in thing, kind of ish. Well, it's good in Forces. But yeah, design-wise, it's probably is it below our polyhedronal friend?
I would put him below the polyhedron. Okay. Yeah, the hexagon.
Next up is the White Wisp, the very basic vanilla wisp. In every game the White Wisp has appeared in, it has been boost. It's boost in Sonic Colors. It's boost in Planet Wisp and Sonic Generations. It's not in Lost World because it doesn't boost there. It's boosting forces, and then in Team Sonic Racing, it is your mushroom. It gives you a short boost of speed. Which, yeah, sure, it makes sense in a series about going fast to make the normal one the speed boost one.
In a sense,
the main companion character in Sonic Colors is a White Wisp with like an Ahoge. I didn't include him because I didn't include him. But White Wisp.
in a sense, I think this is the simplest of the Wisps, which makes sense. He is
a ball, antenna, eye, and the
he is
tentacles that they all
he
have.
he is round. He is giving so much roundness. His body is round. His antennae are round. His eye is round. His tentacles are not round, but they're rounded, which is close enough.
Again, I'm not fully confident in the plus status of every single Wisp, but definitely would have had one.
It's maybe the most huggable. Absolutely, at least one of the most huggable on the list. So I'm inclined to rank it fairly highly. I think what you have here is an orthodox design executed very well.
Yeah.
I think this could go in seasoning, perhaps.
Okay, I'm down. With Jade? Yeah. Above Bomb. I kind of... The Jade Pity story has done so much for me. Yeah. I might take those last
these two gentlemen
afterwards.
Yes, because I have much to say about this fellow, actually.
So this
once again, if I might go first this time.
Sure.
Once again, we have here an almost avant-garde design in terms of little guyness. He's pointy. He's round. He's not round. He's geometrical.
He is not flat, by the way. He is also like rounded around the back of him, but he is still pointy. That is true.
I understand. Yes, I can imagine it. He is a floating pyramid of adorableness, and the fact that he struck out he seems like a pioneer to me, I suppose is what I'm getting at. This is a Wisp who really pioneered a lot of what I think Jade would do after, and what Hexagon Grey Wand is trying to do. I think this Wisp is a class leader. I might argue to put him in sauce tier. I think he's very good, and I love him.
Attention. I don't know if you noticed or if the stream resolution facilitates it, but you notice he's actually slightly striped.
He is. I think that's also a big... I'm actually so glad you pointed it out. He's striped like a fish might be, or like a gemstone might be,
or like a
perhaps or like a drill, or like a tiger eye.
Who appeared in Sonic Colors.
Sonic Lost World, okay.
Not Sonic Forces, maybe not Team Sonic Racing. It turns you into a drill, and you can burrow underground and in water. It's pretty fun, actually. We all like drills, Gurren Lagann, all that shit.
Indeed.
He's like the only Wisp with significant texture to him because of that, effect.
That's what I'm saying. He's a pioneer. He's an innovator. He's leading the way. I think he needs to be in sauce tier.
Honestly?
But yeah, absolutely.
Square and triangle and the circle.
The three geometrical shapes. Yeah.
There are other geometric shapes on
platonic
here,
solids
just not
together again.
As geometric,
the platonic solids once again.
So lastly, this is the purple Wisp, just so you know. This is the violet Wisp, okay? These two are technically artificial in nature. When Wisps in Sonic Colors are drained of their power, they turn into this. The purple Wisp turns into a ravenous beast eating everything in its path. And I don't remember what the violet Wisp does. But in Sonic Forces, it's a Wispin, and its power, I think, is the one that creates a bunch of clones that follow you around? Maybe? Or that might be the Indigo one. Again. No, this is the clone one, I think.
Here's what I have to say.
Yeah.
I respect on an abstract level what the designers are going for with these designs, and I think on that level they're pretty good. I cannot abide little guy torment.
Well, don't worry, because even after they've come out and turned into ravenous beasts, they are still mentally themselves. You know, they're still... The ones that are saved just, like, go back and hang out on, like, Planet Wisp with their buddies, and they're still, like, treated as, like, equals.
Okay.
Perhaps if we understood their emotional intelligence more, we could get into, like, the horribly, like, traumatized psyche of a formerly, like, orange wisp that was turned into this and has to go back to his family. But it seems
his pod,
as though they're
school.
Chill.
Fair enough. So what I will say then is I will refer back to my earlier comment of these feel a bit World of Warcrafty to me, which is not a pleasant association. I like the I've already forgotten what colors these are allegedly supposed to be.
Violet.
Yeah, I like the violet one better than the purple one. Neither is fantastic. If it were up to solely me, I think purple would be probably bottom of the list, and indigo we could maybe put in, or violet, sorry, we could maybe put in mid or thereabouts. I don't know. Okay. It's difficult for me to get behind this aesthetic in this context, I suppose.
Now, I don't have the World of Warcraft association. So I'm fortunate enough to not even need to give a fuck about that. Of the two, I prefer the purple wisp, the one on the left, because the, at the time, unique shape of its mouth goes well with the shape of its head. The violet wisp, for comparison, it's circular, it's got kind of the, like, you know, the, like, cross and out effect. It looks like it should have an eye instead of a mouth.
It does.
The mouth is, like, distracting here.
Can I offer a counter argument, though?
Please.
Is that the violet one seems like it would be very pleasant to pet because of that texture on the outside of his model.
Now, hold on a minute, Jane.
It looks woolly. I know it's supposed to be, you know, like a void or whatever, but it looks woolly, and I think it would feel nice on the hand.
Have you considered, if you're petting between, like, the ears here, effectively, it would kind of be like a cat, where there's, like, a little bit of scruff, and it's, you know, it's probably quite fun, you know?
Alright. I will not argue for bottom of the list for either of these, then.
Besides, you may play a lot better than this fucking thing.
You may put them where you like.
I
leave the final decision to you.
I like him more than Ivory, just 'cause the color. You, perhaps here, perhaps together. Not a tier below. Maybe a tier below.
I actually think needs more development is good for him, because we've both agreed that he would
benefit from an eye.
Tweak him a little, give him an eye instead of a mouth. I think you've got a very good wisp on your hands, but he has a mouth and not an eye.
It's interesting. In colors, they were given purple as sort of like, it's a bit of like a darker color than every other color choice. But then, because they kept making more wisps, like, we got indigo, which is even darker. We got magenta, sort of in between, and then the grey.
Indigo, my perfect child, who is beloved by me and everyone because he is flawless.
I think if I could rewrite the timeline, grey is... it's not necessarily the absence of color, of course, but certainly things that are drained are grey, such that if the grey wisp was a different color, and we could have made the wisps with their energy drained grey instead, that might have
I
felt a bit more potent.
suppose that's fair.
But
You
that's,
could maybe make him a nice red. I don't know,
mm-hmm.
but yeah, no, I
It's
think
like
I'm
flaky,
satisfied
so I
with the
think
work
like a
that
sort
we've
of
done here.
like yellowy brown type thing. Maybe even
That could also work.
yeah. Yeah.
A chocolate, a chocolate color.
Yeah.
Yes.
But here we go. Here is our oh no, the tier names have gone off screen in OBS. Let's zoom out a little bit. Let's scroll up. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
This is a
no.
wisp
I'm
tier
happy
list.
with that.
Am I happy with this? I think I gave you Indigo at the top. If I'm rating on my own, Indigo's probably like there-ish.
Oh, it pains me to such a degree.
Although that begs the question: is the cube in that scenario my favorite wisp? It seems I kind of fucks with the cube. When I think back to the Sonic Colors announcer yelling the name of every wisp, the cube is very good. Yeah, I don't know. We'll call that the final one now. Jane, do you have anything more to say to the viewers?
Remember to defend all of the little guys in your life with your entire heart and being. Unless their name was Jagu, in which case, well, Jagu knows what he did.
Yeah. Bye, Mugs.
Bye, Mugcord.